you're a lowest quartile producer by some way. It's
Yes.
very very low cost.
Yep.
That's your business model.
Mm-hmm.
With all of these new costs coming on board, do you expect the costs to rise significantly, or are you still going to be bottom quartile?
We'll still be bottom quartile in our restart feasibility study and our base case that we're tracking towards. We factored in the capital that we're going to need for this expansionary side of things. And then realistically, with our business, the vast majority of our costs are actually fixed costs, so probably 80% of our cost base is fixed cost. So if anything, our cost per pound will be going down as we up our production. So you have the capital costs to get to that point, and then beyond that, we're effectively slipping further down into the lower cost quartile section where you want to be, as a result of more production to spread
Bottom
those costs
decile,
over.
is that the target?
Yes,
Fantastic.
pretty much. As low as we can be.
Okay, so looking back at 2018,
Yes.
give me your report card for that. How did you do?
Well, I suppose it's pretty key to keep in mind that the start of 2018, we had a very small group of guys, or team, should I say, and we had a feasibility study. By the back end of 2018, we had produced and sold 32,000 tons of zinc concentrate. So there's not very many mining operations that go from study to producing on a fairly significant scale, considering being a restart and a ramp-up side of things in that shorter time frame. So we managed to do the refurbishment and start operations and start the ramp-up and everything else like that on time, on budget, and we hit all our key metrics that we had actually set for the team over that time period, and managed to start to produce saleable concentrate, which has subsequently been shipped into Europe, China, Hobart. So 2018 for us was a momentous year, and we managed to tick all the boxes and kick all the goals that we had set for ourselves.
So from feasibility through to cash flow in 12 months?
Yes.
Pretty good. You're happy?
Yes.
Would you have done anything differently?
We definitely haven't done everything perfectly. You never really can on these sorts of things.
It's mining.
It's mining in general, yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that there are lessons learnt that we will then be applying to the phase 2 side of the ramp up and the refurbishment and everything else like that. But considering the aggressive timeframes that we set ourselves and how we did manage to achieve on that, we're pretty happy that we executed that to pretty much the best of our abilities at the time. And when you say, would we do anything differently, that's why we're actually building out the projects team that we have on site to manage the expansionary side of things. So we've taken those lessons learned of a bit more in the way of oversight and a bit more in the way of project engineering skills and the electrical and instrumentation skill sets, and having that in the in-house team to help manage that step up in tailings.
That then leads on to this year.
Yes.
Obviously we're coming towards the end of Q1, but what does this year look like for you in terms of catalyst moment, major deliverables?
This first quarter, so Q1 calendar year, we're projected to be our first positive cash flow quarter.
Great.
Which, considering we've only been operating for a quarter, so to be positive cash flow in your second quarter of operations.
Unusual?
Yes, very, very unusual in the mining industry, and something that we're aiming towards. The other part of it is back end of Q1 calendar year now, one of the key things we're aiming towards is our phase 1 ramp up in tailings throughput, so that's the 8 million tonnes per annum throughput. So we're aiming to be at that. The next part of that is we're currently with a team of people on site and off site working on our pre-feasibility study, which is investigating the option of a blend feed arrangement. So we do actually have significant mineralisation on the mine site outside of the tailings deposit. We have about 10 million tonnes of relatively good grade material of in situ resources. So a study is ongoing in that at the moment to look at an option of, rather than stepping to 15 million tonnes per annum of tailings throughput, we look at a blend where you would go with, say, 10 million tonnes per annum of tailings and 2 million tonnes per annum of in situ resources.
Right.
So one of the key things that we're aiming to do is to assess that so that we can understand if that makes more sense then stepping to the 15 million by the end of the year, which
right,
is our base case.
And the game there is obviously to make more money. That's
Yes.
the name of the game.
Yes.
Shareholders want to hear that.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about the ore body and the tailings there, which lead you to believe that might be worth investigating.
So I suppose the tailings deposit is the 77 million tonnes at the 3%.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very large ore body, very well known. It is the 14th largest known zinc deposit in the world, so it's a substantial deposit in and of itself. But the mine life of 6.3 years, if we ramp up to 15 million tonnes per annum of tailings, is something that we want to extend. Every mining company wants to extend mine life, but you don't want to do it at too much of a financial cost. So we already have 3 deposits, 2 open pits and an underground operation that are potentially viable. We're going through the process of going through feasibility studies to look at what it looks like bringing those into the production profile, which would then give us close to, if not above, a 10-year mine life. And the whole aim of the study and what we're looking at doing is making sure that our overall metal profile remains the same, which is looking for 250,000 zinc metal equivalent units per annum, which, yes, in situ resources will always be more expensive than a tailings reprocessing side of things, just because you have the upfront mining costs and then the grinding costs as well that you don't have with a tailings reprocessing play. But with that, the 10-year mine life, it is overall a higher free cash flow production over those 10 years as well. And it also gives you a lot longer to look at your exploration side of things to then, again, find more resources to extend the mine life even further.
So come back, what grade did you say? What you mentioned, the grade
for the tailings deposit? That's 3%.
3%, okay.
Yes.
And so just to kind of help people understand the type of business you are, you're a volume processor. That's what you are. So it's 3%. Where would you say that was in terms of high, low?
It's relatively low, I suppose, because that's the residual mineralisation that was left after the first time that they processed it. And we're reprocessing that. So,
but as a volume player, that's not an issue for you. It's about putting through lots and lots of
exactly. So volume. It's putting through a decent amount of that in the way of tonnage, and unlocking as much of that residual value as possible.
And I'm looking at 270% IRR, so the model seems to be working.
Yes.
Right.